R-Lady meeting. Okay, so yeah, for this workshop today, we would like you to please put on your camera so that can be a bit more engaging, and we will make some activity where we will put you like in a breaking room. So that will be great if you have your camera on so that everyone can participate. So we are very happy today to have Jo Event presenting for us, and she's going to talk about how would you like to become a more confident and engaging speaker. So just I want to give a brief introduction just before we start. So to remind you that you can find us on different social media. So we have a YouTube channel, a Meetup, LinkedIn, Twitter, and Facebook. And we have I have written here like the different login for you to find us. I also want to mention that there is an event coming up in October in the Walter and Ilsa Hall Institute in Parkville, and it's a conference on deep learning in medical biology. So the deadline of submission is actually pretty soon, the 31st of July. And I put here a link, a LinkedIn link where you can find more details about this symposium. So I encourage all of you to participate if you are interested in learning more about deep learning. Also, we would like to take this opportunity to ask if anyone is interested in giving a seminar or a workshop or a short talk at the R-Ladies Melbourne, and especially today because you will learn so many amazing tips from Jo on how to give a confident talk. So if you'd like to practice that, please let us know, and we are always seeking for more speakers, so it will be really good if we can get some people interested in participating in the presenting. So yeah, and finally I wanted to thank our sponsors. So we have CSL, Zendesk, Nu, Matrici, and the R Consortium that are allowing us to do those events. So yes, a big thank to them, sorry, a big thank to them, excuse me. And I also wanted to mention that we have put on the GitHub the material like a PDF from Jo where you can find some engaging way to start your talk. So you can find the document on our GitHub. And I'm just gonna introduce Jo now. So yeah, it's a great pleasure to have her today. So Jo is a public online speaking presentation coach and a TED speaker trainer. And she has a passion for helping people to become engaging and powerful speaker. And she's also a lot of fun. So I hope you really enjoyed the workshop today. And I'm gonna leave it to you, Jo.
Speaking is a skill. Learning it will change your life. I love that quote, and I have it on my website. Public speaking is a skill, and learning it will change your life. I wonder what you feel when I say those words, especially the two words, public and speaking. So when I tell people I am a public speaking coach, I get one of two extreme reactions. One is, oh no, I'm absolutely terrified of public speaking. I don't know how people do it. Down to the other end was, no, I quite enjoy public speaking. And yes, of course, there are some people in between. I kind of wonder where you are on that continuum from feeling frightened of public speaking to feeling confident about public speaking. And if you're here a little bit frightened or not feeling super confident, can I reassure you that that is where most people are. So you're not alone. Fear of not being good enough, fear of what you have to say is not interesting enough, fear of I might mess it up or whatever. However, I would like to say and steal the title of this book, Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway. Do any of you know that book? Any of you heard that book? Just me, of the ones I can see. Doesn't super matter, you can see well loved by me. But I love the title, Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway, because let's face it, the fears never totally go away. Of course, I feel a little fear now tonight. I want to make sure that everyone has a really good time and enjoys and goes away feeling they've learned a lot. But it is a skill, as I say, and it is a skill that can change your life. To feel more confident about going to interviews, to feel more confident in social situations, to feel happy to put your hand up when somebody asks if someone might speak up, or to present your work at a conference, big or small audience. So this evening, I hope everybody, from whether they're this end of the spectrum to the other, will have something to learn. And well done to all of you for signing up and coming along. And you said to yourself, click, I want to be a more confident and engaging speaker. And I'm really hoping that tonight's session will be useful, as I said, for everybody, whatever the level. And it's interesting, in my training, people often say, oh, Jo, there's so many tricks and tips that you teach us. And that's what I want to share with you. So first of all, a little bit of an overview of the session. I'm trying to model kind of good use of the online space in terms of where my face is and how I'm using my hands. And I'm going to walk you through the steps. And our aim is that later on, in our little tiny groups, that you'll do like a 1.5 to 2 minute talk. And my aim is to help you to make that very focused, informative, and engaging, as in the title of tonight. And getting confident at public speaking is about having a go and practicing and sort of doing what you can. There is no expectation tonight for anything to be kind of flash or rehearsed or whatever. It is really about having a go and supporting each other to do it in a great environment. So I would love to just start using the chat box, if that's okay. Could you just type in, what would it give you, or what would be the benefits to you of becoming a more confident speaker? So what would you do? If I have my magic wand here, I just express my love of Harry Potter, my magic wand here, and I wave it and make you all like a whole lot more confident speakers, what would that give you? What would you do? What would you do differently? However you want to ask the question, answer that question, I would love it. Could you just type in, if you were a more confident speaker and you felt more engaging, what would that give you? What would be good? Please type in just something. Because we obviously can't talk too much, but I really want to know why public speaking matters to you. Thank you. Better chance of securing a postdoc through networking and conferences. Obvious flow-on effects later in career. Lovely. Business partnering skills. I'd be better at my work. That's an interesting one. I would give a talk for the R-Ladies. Yes, Marie. Confidence in communicating my research. I would suggest myself for more talks. Yeah, putting your hand up rather than often waiting to be called. Yes, Anna. Sharing my ideas. I present more at international conferences. Enter more science competitions. Better at networking. More confidence generally. More options for my work in future. Express my ideas more accurately. Be more confident at teaching. Speak up in groups. Present coaching information. These are all so good. I'd feel less frightened at the thought of applying to a conference talk. Yes, Jocelyn. This is what I'm hoping to give you some more confidence. Better at networking. Less fear of asking questions. Yes, that as well. Influence and communicate better. Help to present my research to people. I don't like listening to poor communicators, so it's community service. No, I like that one. Be able to communicate better and deliver concise presentations. That is what we're going to just talk about in a second. Confidence in sharing ideas at my work, and better at networking and mentoring. Yes, of course. Also, I've noticed a lot of you have said about networking as well, because feeling more confident to talk to people is another great way. All right, here we go. Step number 1. So we've addressed that there are fears, and I acknowledge those. So you have to just feel the fear and do it anyway. So whenever we speak, we really help ourselves if we do 3 things. 1 is to breathe. 1 is to feel the floor, as in not lie on the floor, but I'll tell you in a minute. And also to smile. So could we all have a go now? Where you are sitting at the computer, could you just put your feet on the floor, or if you're sitting at chairs, feel the floor. Feel how amazingly solid it feels. So there have been times when I've been giving talks, when I've been feeling a bit nervous, and I just remind myself, I am supported by something so stable and flat and gorgeous and strong. The second thing is when we're nervous, we stop breathing or we just breathe shallowly. So can you just take a moment to breathe slowly through your nose, in and out. So just give yourself the gift of slowing down a little bit. Beautiful. And I'm now going to ask you to smile as well. So even however you feel, would you please just smile? Thank you to those of you that I can see. Beautiful, beautiful smiles. Oh, it is actually, as a presenter, you have just given me the most amazing gift as well, because you're all smiling at me. Now, there will be times in the future, because we're not always going to be in COVID days, where we will be standing up. So if you're able, I would love it if you'd stand up. Please don't worry if the camera then kind of shows your tummy or whatever. Can you just stand up? I just want to introduce you to trainer or speaker stance. So I'm going to put the camera down for a second onto my feet. Right. So you see how I'm standing? Now, often as women, we stand like that, but actually, can you stand with your feet hip width apart? And just feel that ground. Can you feel how solid it is? Yeah, beautiful. Can you remember to breathe? And can you smile? Now, I'm going to do a really, really wacky thing. If your name starts with a letter between A and L, can you go off camera if you can? So if your name starts A and L, can you go off camera? So if you're between A and L, off camera so we can't see you. Bye-bye, my Harry Potter friend. All right, so those of us with letters further on in the alphabet. Okay, so the A's to L are off the camera, yeah? People like Marie and Jazia. Chan, can you go off camera so we can't see you? Can you kind of go off the screen? So don't turn your camera off. I mean, just kind of do what I'm doing now. All right, here's the game. Here's what's going to happen. Those of us who've got letters later in the alphabet, in a minute are going to wildly clap. So those of us, could you please unmute yourselves? So Marie, Sarish, can you unmute yourselves? All right, so I am now going to introduce those people to come onto the stage, and they're going to come running in. And those of us who are already at the screen are just going to clap them wildly. And when you arrive back on the camera, will you just stand there, smile and breathe and pretend you're doing a bit of a speech? All I want you to do is run on. Forgive me for not explaining this so clearly. In a minute, I would like to welcome to the stage a whole wonderful group of people from the R-Ladies group. Please welcome to the stage. Come on in. Ready? Woo! Oh, fantastic. Stand there, breathe, just feel the audience. Right, we're going to carry on clapping. Yay! Woo! Beautiful. I just wanted you to have the experience of coming on the stage with lots of clapping. Right, could the other half of the group now go off camera? And people early, okay, off camera, if you didn't go off camera before. Fantastic. Thank you to so many of you who are now putting your cameras on. I really, really appreciate it. And now I'd like to welcome the other group to come back in and come to the stage and say their beautiful words. Woo! Come on. Woo! 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 Woo!
Yay!
Yay! Woo! Yay! All right. Thank you, my dear friends. Okay, what I wanted to show you there was what fun public speaking can be. As the audience clap you on and welcome you to the stage, you can enjoy feeling the love and the friendship and the interest of people in what you're going to say. Now, I expect some of you had a chance to do this, but I wrote round saying, could you think of a topic to talk about for today, for our 1.5 to 2 minutes. So remember, this is just a small little cute thing you're doing, short. So could you all, if you haven't already had a chance, could you just think of a topic that you care about, something that matters to you, that you are going to do your 1.5 to 2 minute talk about? So in my examples, I think I came up with why I love outdoor swimming and lung cancer analysis. And perhaps another thing I might have done would be to talk about the book that I'm keen to write. So would you all just take a moment and would you type in the chat box what you want to talk about? Then I could just see that everyone's got an idea. Not got an idea and wants to help, please just let me know. See some themes of what you're going to do. And it doesn't matter at all if you choose a topic that someone else has chosen, but actually I can see absolutely no overlap, except I think there might be a couple of dogs there. That's lovely. Thank you, everybody. All right. Yes, beautiful. Thank you. So now I want you to imagine that somebody is asking you the ideal question. So I'm just going to take some examples. So Alice wrote, why I love running. So Alice's ideal question might be, she doesn't have to go with this one. Alice, tell me, why do you love running so much? I just want you to imagine someone's asking you the dream question. Yeah. So Cassie, why is your dog the best dog? Yeah. Then you kind of go, oh, I have got so much to say about that. Dewey, oh, so you use Netflix. What's your favorite series? And then that would kind of easy for you to launch into it. Yeah. Having a newborn in lockdown for Ishita. How has that experience been? How has it been having a newborn? Catherine, I don't know what you were going to say about coral reefs, but just think, what would be the ideal question that would allow you to talk about what you want to do? Okay, so could you all think of now I would love you to come off mute if you're not sure what the ideal question would be. What would you, or put your hand up and we can just unmute you. Just want to check that everybody has the ideal question that they would be asked. For example, Lorna, you know, how would you reach your goals and living your dream? So Lorna, I'm going to suggest maybe that's quite a lot for 1.5 to 2 minutes. So I'm looking, I can see you, Lorna, there. Yours might just be living your dream or reaching your goals, yeah? Just because it's not super long, but that's all good. All right, I'm just kind of looking. So would you do a thumbs, could you do this? Let's do this one. Could you do a thumbs up when you have a question, your ideal question that you're being asked? Beautiful. Jocelyn, have you got a question, an ideal question now? All right. So Jocelyn, could you unmute and remind me what your theme was?
Refugee detention.
Refugee detention. Why does refugee detention matter to you? Or how could we do refugee detention differently? I mean, what is it about refugee detention that you would like to talk about?
How to end it, how it's damaging. Yeah.
Tell me why you think refugee detention is so damaging.
Okay, that's good.
Would that be, that would launch you off, wouldn't it, beautifully?
Yes.
Beautiful. Anybody else who would like me to just help them make sure they've got the question? The reason it's so good to have the question is that then that makes speaking more like a conversation. And when we have more of a conversation, that takes away some of the fear, because I think some of the fear around public speaking is it's like me and them. But if it's a kind of more of a conversation, you imagine yourself answering a question, that is amazing. All right, thank you. All right, so you've got your ideal question. Now, I want you to think about 3 ideas about your ideal question. Now, 3s are good. You'll hear politicians talk in 3s. 3 ideas are great. So my example would be, if I was talking about outdoor swimming, I just literally want kind of like a bullet point for each one. Number 1 might be, I love it because it's being outside in nature. Number 2 is taking time for myself. 3, it's great exercise. Can I ask, Maria, are you going to go with your lung cancer analysis one or something different? So Marie, what might your 3 be?
So the first one is why is it important to study lung cancer?
Yep.
Then the three one, you mean?
Well, you know, when we talked before about this, I think you came up with something like common misconceptions about lung cancer, the correct data,
Yes.
the correct facts about lung cancer, and encouraging people to change their views.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So those might be your three. Do you want to? Yep. So those would be your three.
Yeah.
All right. So for example, if I was talking about my book here, my dream book. So I haven't written this book, but it's my kind of idea to write it. So my question would be, oh, tell me about your dream book. And I go, yes, let me tell you. So firstly, I would probably explain the title, where I came up, what the point of my book is, and how I wanted to make a difference to others. So you're just thinking, so this is about being very clear. What are the three things you want to say? So if you were presenting something, you would want to present three things. So Anna, may I, since I know you, yours is singing out loud in the house. What might be your three things you would talk about for that?
Yeah, I was thinking about it. So I think like one could be lack of freedom that we have now. And
Yep.
so, which is this one. The other one is we have to be indoor and we cannot do all the things that we were doing before. And therefore singing make me feel free, even though give me that sense of like freedom, which we don't have.
Perfect. Perfect. So just three little short things that you talk about. It just focuses you. It's like a paragraph in your talk. Thank you so much, Anna. All right. So I'm going to ask again, like if anybody would like me to help them work out their three things. Otherwise, I will assume you're okay, but otherwise there may well be some people in the group who would like some help.
Yeah, maybe we can get another example if someone.
Yes, Emerald. Maybe Emerald. May we pick on you? And I was admiring your poncho. Emerald, tell me, remind us all your theme and your ideal question, and what are you going to talk about?
My theme is R factor during COVID. So my ideal question, I guess, is what is R factor? And yeah, my 3 points, I guess, is explaining what R factor is, where that concept comes from. Give some examples of R factors at work, and then how it affects us during COVID.
I think you've just given 4 things there.
Have I? Sorry.
I think, no, that's okay. But do you want to just go again? So the first one, what is the R factor? What is it?
So my ideal question would be, what is R factor?
Oh, sorry, yes. So your answer would be what it is.
Yep, which is, I guess, my first point.
First point. Second.
An example of an R factor at work, and then how it affects us during COVID.
Oh, perfect. So sorry. I think I heard the question as thing. All right. Fantastic. Beautiful, beautiful. Catherine, I can see you there. Catherine, would you mind sharing your coral reef idea? Catherine, what's your thinking there?
Right. So I wanted to talk about Timor-Leste has really high biodiversity on its coral reefs. A lot of people rely on coral reefs for their subsistence. And Timor-Leste is actually potentially a climate refugium in terms of coral bleaching.
Okay, great, beautiful. So those would be, so obviously that lends itself, Catherine, doesn't it, like to a sort of half-an-hour talk?
Yeah, it could. Yeah,
so much
potentially.
To say. So today will just be like a little mini version, sort of tantalizing people. I want to talk about this, I want to talk about this, I want to talk about that. So when we do our little talks, your paragraph, some of them would be huge. You could talk about forever. Obviously, these are things you passionately care about. So you might just say, the first thing I want to talk about is la, la, la. And then you just might stop. Don't worry, that your audience can imagine that you are going on and telling them the most beautiful things. Yeah, I just wanted today to kind of go through the process of a talk, because what we do now is just as useful for all those longer talks and presentations that you are all going to be doing at conferences and for your jobs and everything else. All right, beautiful. Anybody else got a question or want some help?
Yes, If my ideal question is, tell me how I can reach my goals. My 3 points could be, where are you now? Where would you like to be? And how can you get there? Or how can, I don't know where am I now? Where would I like to be? And how can I get there now? Do I do it in the first person or the second person?
Yeah, Lorna, that's really interesting. You're telling people, you're sort of sharing with people about how they reach their goals, yes?
Yeah, yes.
So that would be, where are you now?
Yeah, okay.
Where are you now?
And,
so go there. So
where are you now? Where would you like to be? And how can you get there?
Beautiful. Like, yeah, where are you now? Where you want to be, and how are you going to do? Beautiful.
Yeah.
That's such a really clear one.
Okay,
Lorna,
but that last one, the last one's the one that's going to take the bulk of the talk. Is that okay? Like,
yes,
it doesn't have to be
fine.
even.
It is fine. But also, Lorna, I'll take Lorna's as a really good example. So for today, for our kind of fun mini version of it, Lorna might ask a question of, no, so the first section, where do you think you are now in life? Yeah? It's hard to know sometimes, isn't it? Where would you like to be? La la la, yeah? Yep. So now I'd love to help you go from where you were to there, yeah? And then you would talk about a few examples.
That's right.
Does that sound okay, Lorna?
Yes, great, thank you.
That's really important to clarify, isn't it, that you're talking.
Yes.
If you were standing up in the days of when we stood up, I would have literally had you kind of, where are you now? Where do you want to be? And then I'd have gone back here. Let me help you find the way to get there. Do you know what I mean?
Okay, so I'd actually move.
You could have used the stage. You could have had super fun because you literally are talking about a journey. But in this world, you just have to hear. But Lorna, you might use your fingers. Where are you now? Where do you want to be? How are you going to move between the two?
Oh, I love it. That's great. Thank you.
That you could use this online environment.
Yes,
so
brilliant.
In this online environment, one also needs to not be doing what I'm about to do. You can't put your hands forward because that can look a bit like you're a kind of giant or something.
Right,
you use the plane here. So where are you now? Where do you want to be? How are you going to get there? Let's talk about this bit here or something. Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you.
My
wonderful.
pleasure. Anyone else? Yes, Ishita, go.
Yeah, I just had a question. So I was thinking of talking about, having a newborn.
During COVID
time, like during lockdown. But I was just going to talk about advice as such that people would be able to learn from it. It's more like what my experience has been. So any advice on the 3 points other than my experience and things?
I think sometimes I'm a real lover of doing a talk that has a message for your audience. So for example, Marie said at the beginning, I'm a TEDx speaker trainer. So when I'm working with the TEDx speakers, I have to help them to make their message universal and for everybody. But for tonight, for our little short time, I think it might be something like, I'd like to share my personal experience of how this has been. I hope you find it interesting. Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
Because it's a really unusual experience for you to have had, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I'm not a parent. I would be fascinated by it. And mothers who had babies at non-lockdown time would also be fascinated. So she'd just assume it's a really interesting topic that we want to hear about. Is that okay?
Yep.
It doesn't always have to have a lovely message. Sometimes it is okay just to share. Yeah. I want to share something that's been my experience. Yeah. But at the end, I'm just going to jump in here. We'll talk about the conclusion later. I might say something like, so that has been my experience of lockdown. A very strange experience of something so important but so different. I wonder what your experience of lockdown has been. So I would acknowledge that lockdown has been tough for everybody as well by that.
Yep.
Yeah, thank you so much. Love it. Any more questions? The questions are the best. Ask away. I'm going to flick to the other screen because I can't see anybody. All good? Screen number 2. Okay, thank you so much. All right. So now it's a little bit about how you link your introduction to your 3 points. Yeah. So in a minute, when we do our little breakout rooms, you're going to have your introduction, which we're going to talk about in a minute. No, do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to talk about the sheet that some of you will have seen. So the one that Marie's talking about, don't worry to go and get it now. It's called Some Engaging Ways to Start Your Talk. And in fact, it may be just better if I kind of demonstrate them. Yeah. So I've got 8 different ideas of fun ways to start a talk. Now, here's the deal. When you get into your little breakout rooms, please nobody say something like, hi, I'm Joe, I'm a public speaking coach. Because that is so many talks start like that. I want you, Emeralds, nodding away there. Thank you. Yeah, so many people go, oh, I'm Joe, I'm a public speaking coach. You know, I've done this for many years. I'm very good at it, blah, blah, blah. Really, they make it all about themselves. Yeah. At the beginning of the talk, you have got, whether it's 7 seconds, 30 seconds, whatever research you read, to make a first impression. Yeah. Do it differently. So I'm going to give you 8 examples to do it differently. As I'm giving you some examples, can you maybe choose, not even maybe, can you definitely choose one of these to use for yours? Okay, so number 1 is to start with a powerful or personal story. It could start. So Ishita, that is obviously very likely for you. Can you imagine being in labor during lockdown? So once upon a time, blah, blah, blah. It is a traditional thing to say once upon a time, but that is okay. And then you could tell something that links with your story. Once upon a time, I'm just trying to look at people's ideas here. Upon a time, I was eating the most delicious Mexican food, for example, yeah. Or I will never forget the moment when I was hiking in Scotland, and there in front of me were the huge mountains. Yeah. So I'm not saying, hi, I want to talk to you today about hiking in Scotland. I'm just conjuring the picture. So you can start with a story. If, for example, that was the one about hiking in Scotland, at the end, just going to jump to later on, I might say, if you've never had the chance to go to Scotland and go hiking, I hope once COVID's over, you'll have the chance to do it. Do you know what I mean? You kind of go full story of what you're saying. Question number 2 is to start with a thoughtful question. I love this one. I absolutely love this. How often have you, or have you ever been in a situation where you felt really frightened? Have you ever been in a situation where you couldn't choose what to watch on Netflix? Yeah? Have you ever had a situation where you heard that someone in your family had lung cancer? When you ask a question, it's like the conversation with your audience. And are you noticing that I ask the question and then I pause? And the pausing is so, so important. So I'm just looking for some other ideas. So going back to Anna's one about singing out loud in the house. Have you ever sung out loud in the house? Now, I'm going to demonstrate it 2 ways. First way, wrong. Have you ever sung out loud in the house? Yeah, I do it all the time, blah, blah, blah. I've asked you a question, but I have not waited for the response. Now, I'm not expecting you to speak back to me because I'm the presenter, but I want you to feel like I was asking you a genuine question. So you should do something like this. Have you ever sung out loud in the house? Yeah, I can see some of you have. It's good, isn't it? And if you haven't, let me tell you why it's so good. Do you know what I mean? So you're asking the question. Sometimes also you can use your hand. So I'm just going to demonstrate here. Now I need to be a bit further away. Work-life balance. Do you ever feel you just haven't got that right? So I'm putting my hand up to let my audience also put their hands up if they want in response. If I put my hand up, can I just tell you, if I put my hand up like that, everyone in the audience will put it lower. So you as the presenter have to be kind of quite out there. Have you ever worried about work-life balance and you put your hand really high? For those of us who love Harry Potter, Hermione Granger type of height, yeah? And then everyone in your audience will go slightly lower than you. That is another way to get engagement. When you start to do a talk and your audience engage with you, you feel more confident. You engage them more. It's a really lovely way to do it. Ideas number 3. Now, if you go with this one, you can make up your statistic for today. So number 3 is start with a thoughtful or startling statistic. It's a little known fact that it never ceases to amaze me that, or just launch in with your statistic. Yeah? Did you know there's only 10 women that have had a newborn in lockdown? Okay, it's not true, but you know what I mean? You can just come up with a figure for today, just a fun one to play with a statistic. You can start with a great quote. I love this one. I have used this for so many talks. A journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. Now, that could be great for going hiking in Scotland. That could be great for deciding what steps you might take about networking. That might be something about research about lung cancer. A journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. So if I started with that quote, I might very well in my conclusion finish with that as well. So for example, if it was linked to the hiking one, a journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. I hope you'll have a chance to take that step hiking in Scotland, something like that. Start by doing or saying something surprising. Now, this is the one I absolutely love. So, for example, I have my wand. So you've already picked up, those of you, that I love Harry Potter. So I might often say, I want to talk to you today about something that's very magical. Yeah, that's quite surprising, isn't it? Most people don't expect that. Today, I want to talk to you about being healthy. Can you see the difference? I could say, today, I want to talk to you about being healthy. But isn't it more fun? Today, I want to talk to you about being healthy. I literally am grabbing things around me. Does life sometimes feel like a competition and you have to be the winner? Let me help you how to be the winner. Yeah, I'm literally challenging myself here. Lipstick. Okay, I'm challenging myself here. Do you sometimes feel that you don't show your best side to the rest of the world? But with lipstick, you can. Okay, I'm going to challenge myself one more time to think of a random thing. Okay. Do you sometimes feel like you're not in good connection with people? Pick up that phone and call them. You don't have to use Zoom. So do you see what I'm doing? Thank you, Marie, for laughing at that. So sometimes a prop is a really fun idea. And you'll get your audience laughing, and then it's so different. When the people laugh and smile, you will feel more confident. Number 6, start with some words or something from your website. Now, I did that. I started with public speaking is a skill, and learning it will change your life. Because I love that quote. I think it's really good as a public speaking trainer. So I started with that today. I didn't say to you all, hi, I'm Jo, thanks for having me. I just went straight in. Public speaking is a skill. Learning it will change your life. And if it's a quote that I love, I might often just repeat it twice so that people can have time to process it. Number 7, just start with a clear intention. You might just say, the reason I'm here today is because I am passionate about the coral reefs. I am passionate about detention. I want to talk about that. Do you know what I mean? You can go straight in there and say, this is what I'm going to talk about. And this one, I stole from some people I was training last week. I loved it. This is what they did. My topic today is something that I expect lots of you love. My topic today is about something that most of you start the day with. My topic today comes in a cup. Yes, I'm talking about coffee. So that is another really kind of fun way. But I hope you're also noticing the way I'm saying it. I am not saying it. I'm not going to get my wording the same. Something like, Today is, I'm talking about something that everybody has that comes in a cup, blah, blah. I'm pausing, yeah? Something that you have every day, something that's warm. Pausing. Notice I'm so using pausing. Something that comes in a cup. So sometimes you'll speak slowly, sometimes you'll speak fast. You need to use the power of the pause. And that was it. That was it. The last one says, any other wonderful ideas you come up with. So my new Zoom friends, could you please type in which of those ideas? Start with a story, start with a question, start with a statistic, start with a quote, start by doing something surprising, start with some words from your website, start with a clear intention, start with the game. Which one are you going to use? Could you just type in? Because I'm also interested to know which ones you like the best. So which one of those are you going to use? Type away, my friends. Okay, I'm going to do it to, I'm going to sort of be watching. Story, question, story. So stories are so good as well. Question, start with a bit of game. Alice, I'm curious what you're going to do there. Marie, start with a thoughtful question. I like the question, maybe use it. Personal story, story, asking a question, asking a question, asking a question. Start with a question, quote, start with a question. Prop, photo. Yes, I should have used that one as well. Prop photo is a great one. Statistic, ask a question. Emerald, clear intention, Danny, statistic. Nice, nice. Thank you, everybody. So much fun. Honestly, you will straight away have got your audience and be much more engaging, and they'll think, oh, I'm going to listen to this speaker. They're going to be a little bit different. Yep. So now we need to link your introduction to your 3 points. So someone's going to give you, so I'm going to ask cheeky. Marie, do you mind? Since I know you, I feel not so bad. So Marie, what's your thoughtful question?
So my thoughtful question is, have you ever been in a situation where someone tells you they have lung cancer and you associate that with smoking?
Nice, nice. Because Marie, that's exactly where you're going. Yeah. Brilliant, brilliant. Yeah, really clear. Cassie, may I ask you?
I'm still working on that.
So Cassie, remind me what your theme was.
It's about my dog and how amazing he is.
So which one of the ideas did you kind of most resonate with?
I figured the easiest one for that topic would be about the story. So I thought at least starting...
Cassie, sorry, I interrupted you there. Go.
Oh, that's fine. I thought something along the lines of, I will never forget the day I accidentally adopted a puppy.
Well, that is brilliant. And then you would pause, Cassie, because that, can you see the screen around you? Everyone's going kind of, oh, look at that. It's got the thing. Yeah, that is a brilliant start. So nothing can better that. But I was going to make a suggestion for someone else who might be doing something. Cassie, what's the name of your dog?
Otis. He
Otis.
just perked up with that.
Okay, all right. So Otis is not. So Otis perhaps could be a person or a dog. Yeah. So other ways that I've heard people talking about an animal, something like, I love Otis. You know, he makes. You kind of start off with it sounding like you're talking about a person, and then it suddenly twists and then says something like, Otis loves to wear a lead. Or Otis loves to go for a walk or something, have fun. But Cassie, what you've got is absolutely, I love it. Couldn't be better. All right, anybody want help working out how they're going to go? All right. Beautiful. Okay, I'm going to ask one person from, you won't sort of like with a different screen. Shazia, how are you going to start your speech?
I didn't pick a topic, but I will right now on the fly. I will pick New Year's celebration in Ecuador.
Okay. So let's pause. So what would be the question that I would ask you? Something like, why is New Year's celebrations in Ecuador so brilliant? What would be the question you'd love me to ask you?
Sure. Okay. So I guess wait, sorry. Are you starting with my topic?
Yes, I'm taking your talk. I'm helping you to quickly workshop it.
Yeah. Sorry.
So what would you love me to be asking you to help you launch into?
Yeah, no, that's fine. I mean, I think I would start with like maybe a stat or something, you know, like I'm making up the number. There are 20 different traditions that all Ecuadorians do on New Year's Eve, you know, something like that. And then
I love it. I love it. Yeah, lovely. There are 20 different traditions that happen New Year in Ecuador. Right, Shazzy, where are you going to go next? What would be the 3 things you're going to talk about? So how would you link? I'm going to tell you about 3 of them, or let me tell you about, where would you go?
Let me tell you about my favorite one. So every New Year's we...
No, I'm not going to ask you now, what would be your 3 things you're going to do?
Let me tell you about my favorite one.
Yeah, so you're going to tell my... So let me tell you your favorite one. What would be your second thing you're going to do? Only just need the heading.
Oh, I see. Let me tell you about my favorite one, the most unconventional one, and then one that is celebrated across South America.
Fantastic. Yeah. So I'm going to tell you 3 facts about it, and you might, Number 1, this is my favorite one. Number 2, the most unconventional. Number 3. So Shazzy, you, for your conclusion for bringing it round, definitely have to be something around. I hope to see you in Ecuador for New Year's Eve, and next year. Something. Do you know what I mean? Just bring it beautifully together. Now, thank you, Shazzy, for being honest that you didn't have your story. I don't want
I'm tweeting about the event at the same time, so that's why I'm kind of in and out. So
I see. Beautiful. I just want to check I don't want anyone to go into the breakout room not being sure, and it's absolutely fine to say. Is there anyone else who would love just a quick mini workshop with me and work out what their question is?
I think there's one. Shamati?
Yes. Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah, can I just start asking a question?
Yes, please do.
Do you know how difficult it is to maintain a toddler during this lockdown period without even sending me to daycare? See, this is how it's going to be.
So say that question again. You're off camera, aren't you? Is that right?
No, actually.
Oh, sorry, I'm trying to see you. Can you wave? Could you wave to me?
Yeah.
Oh, yes, I can see you. Sorry. I was looking in the wrong place. Right, go again with your question. Sorry. No, that's fine. Go again with your question.
Do you know how difficult it is to maintain a toddler in home in this lockdown period without sending him to daycare and working in home? So I just want to show like this. This is going to be very difficult, and I want to know, like, let people know how I manage a toddler in home, and how do we engage him in different activities. So I just want to start with this question and answer.
Oh, I love it. My idea to you would be to make your question just a little bit shorter, because if you're wanting us to, I actually had to really process what you were asking me and working out, and then I saw him something like, can you imagine how hard it is in lockdown looking after? You can make it you know what I mean? You could just make it quite fun and turn the camera. So here's an example of using the online environment in a beautiful way. Yeah, sort of turning the camera. Yeah, especially if you can be quiet before and then suddenly he goes, "Hi, mom." Yeah.
Oh, he doesn't speak still. So
no,
thank you so much. Actually, this helped me. Yeah, thank you so much.
So have fun. Use the camera. That would be just so great. And then at the end, you'd go back something like, turn it. I'm turning the page.
Yeah.
Anybody want to come and help me look after him, or something fun? Yeah, whatever. Beautiful.
Lorna, question from Lorna. Sorry.
Yeah, Lorna. Yeah, that's what I wanted to say, Marie.
All good?
Is it okay to ask another question?
Yes, Lorna, go.
Okay. So mine is the reaching your goals. So could I say something like, can you think of something that you'd like to be really different in your life? Maybe it's something to do with your health, reducing addiction or negative thoughts, or connecting with others, or having more romance in your life, or being a better public speaker, or something like that.
So Lorna, great question, and that really helps me to give some information that is so useful to everybody. I am guessing that Lorna's question, every single one of us, if she'd asked us to put up her hand or just in our heads, would have said yes. yeah? But Lorna, it was quite long. So it may be better to just ask, do you have a goal in your life that you haven't yet reached?
Oh,
a
great.
more general, universal one. Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
Because the answer is basically everybody does. So the question that you can ask that everybody says yes to is good. Something like.
Yeah.
Is that okay?
Would there be a bit more interesting way to introduce this topic?
Well, I think the question initially is just the hook to go. So something like, anybody have any of you here got a goal that you want to reach but haven't got there yet? So everybody at that point, Lorna, is basically saying yes to you. Do you know what I mean? So they're thinking, whatever she's going to say next, I'm interested.
Yep.
Then you could say, it could be, yeah? Or if it was me, I might be saying, I'm wondering if it's a work goal, a relationship, then I would use the different examples maybe.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Is that okay? Yeah. Thank you, Anna and Marie, for spotting. Who else? Yeah, anyone else? All right, I'm just gonna just check. Okay, so what we're gonna do is Marie, in a few minutes, is gonna put us into the little breakout rooms, and we'll be in there for about 12 minutes. So I'm just gonna tell you what's gonna happen. So Anna, may I use you as my demo?
Yeah.
Okay, so imagine I've gone into a group and I'm with Anna and one other person. Okay, so I'm going to offer to be Anna's introducer, you know what I mean, like her MC or whatever. So I would say to Anna, can you tell me what your ideal question is you'd like me to ask?
Yeah. What's your favorite lockdown activity in the house?
Okay, fine. Okay. So imagine there's me and one other person in the room as the audience. So I would say, and we'd all be off mute and we'd all be on camera. Otherwise, this is not very supportive for each other. And now, to welcome Anna to talk about what is her favorite activity to do in lockdown or something like that. Just short. Clap, 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 clap. Over to Anna. Yeah? Yep. Anna then starts with her fun way. So none of you are to go, hi everybody. No, you've got to go straight into your question, your statistic or whatever. Just play with doing different. And then Anna would lead into her, and I'd like to tell you about my 3 ideas, yeah? Now, you only have 1.5 minutes to 2 minutes. We're not even doing the conclusion here. So you will just say a tiny bit about each one, yeah? No one is expecting a fully prepared speech, but you're just doing your little talk. So I've introduced Anna. Anna's done her talk. While she's doing it, can the other 2 of you nod and encourage and smile and be the best audience at the world? Yeah? Anna then gets to a point when she's kind of thinking, oh, I've done 1.5 to 2 minutes. And then she says something like, I'll stop there. Anna, could you do that? Say, I'll stop there.
I'll stop there.
Is that okay? You do not have to have a posh ending. You're totally entitled to go, I'll stop there. Takes all the pressure off. I'll stop there. Takes all the pressure off saying, so the point of my speech was blah, blah, blah. No, you can just say, I'll stop there. Yeah? That's you recognizing the time. Then me and the other member of the audience are going to say 2 or 3 things to Anna that she just did really well. Yeah? Only gorgeous, positive things. Things about where she was engaging, things that made you smile, things that touched you. Yeah? Now it's only short, but you will be able to find things. And the things that you'll find, you'll say to her, let me give you an example. Anna, I really love that question you asked at the beginning. That was so powerful. Or, Anna, I love the way you took pauses. Or I love the way you told that personal story. Yeah? I want you to experience receiving positive things about what you've just done. Yeah? So I'll say it again and then you can ask questions. So one of you, you'll take it in turns. One of you will just take it in turns to introduce the person. So just say, how do you want me to introduce you? What's your question? Yeah? What's been your experience during lockdown? What's your experience? Blah, blah, blah. So you'll just introduce them, clap, 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 clap. They will talk. And then when they finish, they'll go, I'll stop there. You will clap to encourage them. And then each of the two in the audience will say, well done. I loved what you just did. I loved the pausing. I love the pacing. I love whatever. Yeah? Okay. Any questions? So Marie and Anna, you are welcome to help me if I'm not being clear. Yes,
yeah,
Marie.
I have a question. So you say first we should ask the person what is their question. So then
so you can introduce them.
So when
I don't mean the question, sorry, Maria. Yes, not the question they're starting with. I mean the question that's about their theme.
So can you give an example?
Introduce Marie, who wants to talk about the importance of lung cancer.
Okay.
Sorry. Yes. Let me introduce so-and-so who's going to talk about why they love their dog.
Okay.
The question, the sort of more the title of their talk.
Okay. So then in the breaking room, we would do that 3 times for each person because we're going to be 3 members. Okay.
Yeah. So I think.
Sorry, Jo, I had one quick question. So we do not have to take time to each other. So we let the speaker, whoever is speaking, deciding if they spoke for a good amount of time or.
Yeah, so look, you do need to be mindful that you're in a group. So I'm going to give you, say, Marie, we'll give 12 minutes, when you set it up. So please just be thoughtful, just as you're saying your 3 points, you'll literally be sort of talking. So my first point, let me just give you an example, something like, it'll be as long as this. My first point is, where did I come up with the title of this book? Well, I used to be a maths teacher, and I realized that in maths, life always happens in the first quadrant. That's probably as much as you could say for each point. Is that okay? So if someone is taking a long time, maybe somebody else could just say something, or maybe just start clapping early. I just want you to be thoughtful to each other. Is that okay? I'm just going to trust the wisdom of the group. Any questions? So go, my friends, have fun, support each other beautifully. I'm going to drop in and out of some of the groups, if that's okay. Go and have fun, smile and breathe. Okay, thanks, Marie. All right, so now I can also see you on one screen because I can see some people have had to go. That's okay. I'd love to just ask, would you unmute yourself? And please just pop up your hand and say, I would be really curious how it felt receiving the praise, receiving the feedback. That is what I would love to know about. How was that? And Ishita is off mute, so please, how was that for you? Getting you going.
It was really good to sort of get positive feedback, not only towards the end, but I think even when I was talking and, I was looking at the faces and they were going like that. So I think that just helped as well. You always look for that sort of affirmation when you're talking. So it does boost your confidence when you get that.
Yeah, well done. Thank you so much. It's right why it's also asked for people to be off, to see the cameras so I can see some faces. How was it for other people? Just a couple of other people. How did it feel for you getting that feedback? Because Anna and I are both members of Toastmasters, which is a public speaking organization. We are used to getting that lovely feedback, but I'm sure some of you wouldn't have had that. How was it for you? Did that help?
I can say something from my experience. Yeah. I think it was nice to get the feedback. Something that I thought would have been negative was actually seen as something positive from both, because I talk a lot with my hands. And so then I was like, oh, maybe I use them too much. And they were like, actually, that was really engaging. So that was nice to get that feedback.
Isn't that nice that you got that feedback to keep you, because you're obviously very want to use your hands. That's so nice. I'm so pleased you got that feedback. Alice, how was it for you? Sorry,
the dog just ran in, so I was completely distracted. It was really good. Like, I think I give a lot of scientific talks, and I think when you're a scientist, you're so used to questions, and often questions that are disguised as comments, and sometimes they're negative comments. So I think having that positive feedback and that positive reinforcement felt really nice, because often you finish a talk and you're like, oh, okay, like, how did it really go? So it was really nice.
That's so nice. So in our group, there was the 3 people, but obviously I didn't do a talk. So I did the other thing. So when I run my trainings, because I do kind of little, 3 weekly sessions of training, I encourage people to say, first of all, what they did well. And the reason I do that is that muscle of saying nice things to ourselves is rubbish. It is so easy for us to finish and think, we spoke too quickly, we used our hands too much, we didn't say what we wanted to say. We are so quick to criticize. So I want people to redress that and to build the confidence. So first of all, to say what they did themselves well and to acknowledge that, and then to hear it from others. It's so positive. It just helps us to become more confident. Yeah, really, really nice. Now, I just wanted quickly, we've got 9 minutes, and we'll just have a couple of questions at the end. I just want to make sure, of course, we haven't done the conclusions. Yeah. So I talked about starting with a bang. Yeah, get going. Don't say, hi, I'm Joe, but instead start with a quote, with a question, with a magic wand, whatever. Now, your conclusion is the last thing that people will see of you and remember about you. So it needs to also not just peter out and that people are kind of going, should we be clapping? Has she finished? It should be very, very clear. So I want you to perhaps link to your how you started. Okay. So Marie, I'm picking on you, Marie, because we met before. Have you got an idea how you might finish off to finish? What might you say?
Because I started asking the question whether people associate cancer with smoking, so I might finish mentioning actually a lot of lung cancer patients never smoked after I show some numbers, something like that.
Yep. So I'm wondering, I could be very controversial here. Something like, so I wonder if I've changed some of your minds. Or I wonder if some of you now think differently about lung cancer and smoking. I hope you do. Or something, I might just finish like that. Or something like, so you can, or Maria, I'm just going to play with yours. So you can see it's so much more complicated than one might think at first. Yeah. So many people think they're directly caused, but as I've shown you this evening, they're not. Yeah. Spread the word. Now I'm sounding like a preacher, but they're not linked or something. Yeah. Or just finish, so you just kind of wind it up so in a definite way, and then you kind of stop speaking. Somebody else want to play with their ending?
I have a question actually.
Please.
More than so as a as a scientist, I have to give a talk. The audience is like most of they're scientists, and the thing is that the acknowledgement slide should be here, and there are a lot of people on the acknowledgement slide, and you can't finish your talk with a nice phrase or with something. It must be acknowledgements, otherwise it's really rude. You can't say that all work that I've just presented was done by me, which is not true usually. You have to say thanks for a lot of people that contribute to your project. And in this situation, how it's better to finish my talk.
So what did you talk about? What was your session about? Your little talk just now?
Just now I was talking about the immune system.
The immune system. So I don't know. So let me just play around with some ideas. So would you literally show a slide to acknowledge? So I would just like to say thank you to all the other people that have been involved in the research I've talked about today. Is that the kind of way you finish?
It's the usual thing. Yeah. It's the whole slide with a lot of people, with a list of
so those are the people. And do you normally, and does that normally stay up at the end to let people read it? Is
kind
that
of
how it works? So is that how it sort of, you normally might end, and those are the people, and now you kind of leave? Okay.
And now you can ask me a question related to my talk.
Okay, all right. I'm just going to jump in with Anna and then come back. Anna has an idea, I think, there.
Yeah, I think, Ilaria, because I do remember someone talking about it, because often in science we just end up with these slides with all these people that maybe, they might have helped in our study, of course, but maybe they're not, everyone helped, and everyone knows that a study is not that one person, but really the talk is given by you now, and especially if you're a young scientist, you want to put yourself more in light. And so often people suggest to show that slides, say thanks to everyone, but then end up and with that different slides, which will remain for the whole time of questions. So for example, a link to your GitHub repository, a link to your website, a link to something, so that people, while they ask questions, they see the work that you've done or where it is. So it doesn't matter if you don't have to end up with the slides if you want. You can end up with something about you. I mean, about your research. I did do that sometimes, and it kind of works as well because people are interested in your work. So you put them the idea of where they can find your work rather than, I don't know if that makes sense. So like rather than I don't know if that
yeah, but it feels like it's not the nice flow. So it's like your story, then acknowledgement slide, and then you go back to the summary slide, and everything is like not really smoothly.
Yeah, for me it's not a summary normally, but it's more like, and if you would like to contact me, or if you would like to know more about everything that I've done, I have everything that you need.
Yeah, that's why like my question was more about, should I finish the talk before acknowledgements and then say, oh, this work cannot be done without all these people, and then I have summary slides, but should I finish my talk already before acknowledgements?
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. I mean, it would be not knowing the exact topic. I'm just mulling out. What an interesting thing. I think you could do both. I think you could do either. I think you could finish very, very powerfully with however you wanted to finish, and then say, obviously, I've spoken from the heart about this, but I have been part of, and then you could finish with the acknowledgement, or you could acknowledge everybody and then just say something like, I hope I speak on behalf of all of us to say your final message.
You can also start with acknowledgements at the beginning. I've seen a few people do that in talks. I think the rationale for doing that is actually because you always end up without time. So people tend to rush the acknowledgements. So I've seen a few people do, you know, I'm going to actually acknowledge everybody involved right now. And then then it's your talk. So that's an alternative as well.
Yeah.
That's good.
To be thought about, but to be played with. Yes, I love that, thinking about, yes, at the beginning, you know, you would still do your introduction. Do not show that, but then put it up to acknowledge them and say, everything I'm speaking about today is not just my work, but is also the work of these people. Yeah. And then it's kind of over to you and you're keeping it going. That's another way, isn't it? No easy answer, but a really, really beautiful, beautiful question. I'm just seeing it's kind of nearly time, and I just wonder if there are any other, thank you for that question, Ori, that was so good. Any other questions about speaking? I would love you to keep feeling more confident about speaking, and you know, just any other thoughts, any other questions?
I have one question, Jo. So I've done a few talks recently in COVID, and they're talks where you share your slides. So all I can see is my slides, and then often it's like myself or like the active speaker in the bottom right-hand corner, and I always minimize it because it's a bit distracting.
It is, isn't it hard? Yeah.
Yeah, like, and one thing I've found is I don't mind it like presenting virtually, but it is sometimes hard. I feel like I rush because you're not getting that feedback from people, whether it's people nodding or looking or even being completely disinterested in non-foreigners, which hopefully doesn't happen. But yeah, how do you go, like, what are some strategies about presenting during COVID and presenting like when we don't have that kind of feedback and that nice smiliness from the audience?
Yeah, that is super hard. So one is, okay, so just three things that come straight to mind. I would use the slides, but I would then take them off. So I would not do it like one might do a normal PowerPoint presentation, because I also think people don't necessarily like looking at slides. So, you know, so I'd have the slides where I need to, but then if I'm explaining it, I would take it off and go back to me. So therefore I can also see other people. I would also, wherever possible, if you can, get a row of a few people up at the top, you know, so that you've got some feedback going on. I also have on my camera here a smiley face with a kind of arrow reminding me to look at the camera. Sometimes I put a picture up by the camera of a lovely smiley person like my husband, so that I can kind of be talking to him sometimes. It's all tricks. Yeah. And then you just need to remember to slow down, and yeah, but it does make it harder without that feedback. I absolutely agree. Yeah.
I have another question. I mean, it's more, I guess you cannot answer a lot in detail, but just to give some tips, because yeah, as I was mentioning to you, sometimes we have a hard time finding speakers for the R-Ladies. And so do you have any advice to help more women take the risk and try to become more engaging and follow your tips that you gave us today?
Good question. Good question, because actually this is an incredibly safe and supportive place for people to try out their ideas, isn't it? With an audience of people who are thinking. So Marie, you ask people and they say no. Is that what happens?
I mean, yeah.
Or just they don't put their hand up.
Exactly, yeah, they don't put their hand up.
Okay, well, I think you should look at the screen here, Marie. You should do a screenshot of who is here now and slightly target these people here, not in a bad way, but just to say, hey, you had that session with Joe. Would you like to have a go? Do you know what I mean? These are the people who've stayed to the end. Sorry to put pressure on all you lovely people who are here, but that's it. So maybe sometimes, and the other thing I think sometimes is actually directly asking. So that would be my other thing, Marie. If I was just to say to you now something like, hands up, I've done it today, haven't I? I've demonstrated that. I've asked for people to speak and they haven't. So then I've picked on people. But if you actually directly ask somebody, for example, you know, Emerald, I could see you were there with your friend, you know, all the way. I could see you smiling as Joe was doing it. Would you love to share? Would you like to share about your work? Do you know what I mean? If you're directly asking Emerald, she might be more positive than if you just wrote round and said, would you put your hand up? I don't know, that's a thought. The other way, Marie, would be to say, hey, who'd like to fresh off the session with Joe, have a go? I don't know, that's...
yeah, thank you.
Yeah. And if anybody does want to work with me, I do little kind of 3-week courses of sort of 2 hours a week for 3 weeks, building up on skills. And people have said that it's really helped them so much. So I have a website, joeevans.com.au, and there are courses linked. There's a course linked. And if you type in R-Ladies on my website, I have set it up so that the courses are reduced. So instead of it like being for 3-week course being 225, it's down to 180 for 6 hours of just 6 people in a group. It's a really intense chance to do it. So anyway, I'll send that information to Marie. So yeah, joeevans.com.au, type in R-Ladies for the coupon. But I'd love to, if there's people who would love some help. And maybe if there's some people in this group who think, I actually would like to step up. I would like to feel more confident. Come and work with me. You know, I think I'm saying it's good value. I think it is, but you know, come and work with me, get that skill and do the presentation. How good will you feel? Don't mean working with me. I mean, how good will you feel stepping up and presenting and feeling more confident? Yeah, Anna's going, yes.
You have a question from EOE?
Yeah.
I know you said, and you and Anna are part of Toastmasters. I've heard of it before, but do you recommend that as a way to get more experience?
Yes. Yes, there are Toastmaster groups. There are Toastmaster groups all over the place. Anna and I are in the same group in Parkville, which is like sort of the Carlton area. So if you live near there, but you know what? You could do. Are you and Anna kind of in communication? You can also drop into our Parkville website, our Parkville meetings, for example, while we're in COVID, and just see what happens, and then maybe choose one near to where you live.
Yeah, if you want to send me an email, I mean, I can share my email here or whatever. Like it could be anything, and then I'll share with you the link to the Parkville Toastmaster. Or if you,
can you put the link just in chat, Anna?
I'll write the link of Parkville Toastmaster here. So
lovely. So we're next meeting on Wednesday the 12th at sort of 5 to 7, ready for 7 o'clock. And it's a really good way and kind of low cost, super fun, that we all support each other. And, you know, you have some other people in the club are mentors like me to help people. So come along, come to Parkville. Yeah.
Cool, thanks very much.
Thanks, Anna.
You're welcome.
I think my work is done.
Could I ask one more question?
Yes, yes. And also I'm happy to stay on afterwards a little bit. Yeah, yeah.
Sorry. So my question is, how do you feel more confident when you're presenting in front of all the people that they probably know more than you do?
Is that actually often the case, that people do know more than you when you're presenting?
Well, that's most of the time what I'm worrying about.
Yes, so that's interesting. No, sometimes we think people know more than us, you know, maybe our lecturers or some people, but actually if it's our speciality that we've been asked to speak about, we probably often know more. And if not, we really care about it. So you can have your own slant on it. Can you give me an example?
For example, I was doing it was a video recording for my research project last semester, and I picked a topic that I'm interested in, and I'm presenting to my supervisors. So I end up, it was like a Zoom recording section, so I end up doing 9 times. Yeah,
so you were being very hard on yourself then, were you?
No, but I feel like I wasn't confident enough in presenting my stuff to my professors.
So is that about the presenting, or is that about you not feeling you've got your subject well enough? Do you feel like you got it?
I think, yeah, I got pretty good feedback from my supervisors. So I don't know if it's my content or it's just me. Yeah.
Okay, so just one tip that I would do, something like that. If someone's asking me to speak where I know that they might know equally or more or something, I would say something, maybe it doesn't feel appropriate to you, but I'm really excited to share about this topic today. It's so enjoyed finding out about it. Do you know what I mean? I'm reminding myself I love it. What I want to share about is this. And then off I go. And then I kind of think, well, so what if they know more than me? I'm excited about what I'm saying, and they're my supervisor. They're getting paid to watch this. Go. Yeah, it's about being kind to ourselves. I think public speaking, a large part is being kind to ourselves and not judging ourselves. So they're asking you to do it. So go, my friend. Throw some magic in as well. Yeah. Imagine Harry's there as well.
Thank you.
Was there one other? I'm very aware of the time, so I could talk all night about public speaking.
Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Very much. My pleasure. Marie, do you want to finish, or how do you do it? I don't know how you finish. Or
anybody has any other question for Joe?
I have a question, but I feel like I've been greedy, and I'm happy to talk about it later if Joe's still available.
Yeah, Lorna, I mean, Marie, am I able to stay on the line for a moment?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Okay.
Everyone, and good luck.
Yeah. Go well, Marie. I hope everyone has a go at speaking, and yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, we have lots of new speakers for our new.
Yeah, you've got 20, 30, 20 new speakers, haven't you? Everybody will have a go.
2 years done.
Marie, the other thing is maybe to break it and make it 2 shorter sessions. That might be less daunting for somebody.
Yeah, actually, I have been sending them messages to ask for their email to short talk. So maybe what we could do is like one event where we have several people presenting, which is a bit less stressful. So
yeah, I think it is. I think it's much less stressful. Say you sort of like you're one of 3 or something. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. And they did send me several email addresses, so that's really good. Thank you you have encouraged a lot of people to join, so that's amazing. Thank you for the very nice.
Oh, my pleasure. It's been such fun. Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you very much.